All right, welcome back, everybody, to the deep dive. You know how we're always talking about getting more out of, well, everything. Today we're diving into the idea of parlaying.
Oh, yeah, I love that word.
So think of it kind of like this. You're taking something small, could be just a tiny little skill you have, or maybe a chance meeting you had with somebody.
Right.
And you transform it into something much, much bigger.
Like taking a little seed, right, and growing a big money tree out of it.
Yes, exactly. Spotting that seed early and then helping it reach its full potential. So the source material that we're looking at today, it defines parlay as using or developing something, anything, to gain something even more valuable.
I like that.
Yeah, so let's break that down a little bit, okay? What are some things that stood out to you when you read that definition?
Well, I think it's all about recognizing opportunities, even the ones that seem super small or maybe even insignificant at first.
Right.
Think about it this way. How often do we just kind of blow something off because it seems too small to even bother with?
Oh, yeah, all the time, I'm sure.
What if that small thing, though, is actually like the key to something much bigger and better?
Right.
So it's all about having the vision, I think, to see the potential that maybe other people miss.
That makes me think about luck, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is being lucky actually just luck, or is it a skill? Like being able to spot things that other people don't?
Well, I think it's definitely a little bit of both. I mean, there's definitely an element of just being in the right place at the right time, that's for sure.
Of course, of course.
But it's also about recognizing that opportunity when it pops up, being ready for it.
Right, and not getting caught up chasing the wrong things.
Exactly.
Our source material talks about this, about not falling into the rat race trap, like blindly joining some line of people without even knowing what's at the end of the line.
I've done that.
Just because everybody else is doing it,
Yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. It's so easy to just kind of get caught up in that whole race, especially when everyone around you seems to be heading for that same exact goal.
Yeah.
But the real question to ask yourself is it really my goal? Like, does this thing, whatever it is, does it actually match up with what I really, truly value?
Right.
Because sometimes the best opportunities, the ones that are the most valuable, are the ones that bring you person satisfaction.
Right, right.
And that might not be what society tells you is successful,
Right. I love that. Our source gives a really, I think, telling example to illustrate this point.
Right.
They compare two people. Okay. One person loves what they do. They're passionate about their work.
Right.
The other person just totally dreads their work, absolutely hates their job.
I've been that person.
Haven't we all at some point? Right. But both of these people, they could definitely come across bigger and better opportunities.
Yeah.
But their motivation, how they get there, and their path to get there is going to be completely different.
For sure.
The person who is really passionate about what they do,
Yeah.
they're probably always coming up with new ideas, right? Always trying to improve and innovate.
Right.
And that could lead to breakthroughs that they didn't even expect.
Yeah.
Now, the person who really doesn't like their work, they might just be so unhappy that they're driven to look for something completely different.
That's me.
And that could lead them down a path that's actually much better suited for them, for their needs and their passions.
That's a really good point. It shows how important self-awareness is, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
I mean, really understanding what you're good at, your passions, and also really what motivates you to do anything.
Absolutely.
And once you know all of that stuff, you can start to see how those things connect to the opportunities that are already all around you.
It's like, I don't know, it's like having a magic key that unlocks all these secret doors.
Right.
And that actually, now that you mention that, that reminds me of a quote from the book Dune.
Okay, which one?
It's by Frank Herbert. I'm sure you've heard it. He says, "He who controls the spice controls the universe."
Oh, I like that one.
Right. Okay, so think of that word spice as like a metaphor. Okay. That key that we were talking about earlier.
Okay.
It could be some skill you have that nobody else has. Or maybe it's a unique perspective that you have. Could even be just your network of connections and friends.
Sure.
Right.
That's true.
But by developing and really mastering that spice, you're basically gaining control.
Right.
You're opening up a whole world of possibilities that you couldn't even access before.
It's true. And I think that actually ties in really well with the cartoon from our source.
Okay, tell me about that.
Remember that one with the little tiny seed that grows into this gigantic money tree?
Yeah, I love that cartoon.
I think that's a really good way to remember that growth takes time. You got to nurture something to make it grow. That little seed, it could be anything, right? It could be that skill you have or that one little opportunity, but it has the potential to become something huge.
Yeah.
But only if we take care of it and help it to reach its full potential.
So this has been a great discussion, but if there's one thing our listeners should take away from this deep dive, what would it be?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it's to recognize your own worth.
Yes.
Recognize the value of the little things, the opportunities that seem small, the skills that you might not even think are that important.
Yeah.
Because all of those things, they're the seeds of your potential.
I love that. So I think on that note, I want to leave our listener with one final question to think about.
Okay, what is it?
What seeds do you have inside of you right now? What talents, what skills, what interests do you have that you could grow into something much, much bigger?
That's a great question.
Take some time to think about that, and let's see what amazing things we can grow in the future. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, everybody. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.